Oh, I didn't even pull up the thing.
There we are. Oh, there we are. We are live. Hello, everyone.
Hi, guys.
Welcome to the Magic Hour with Stephanie, Siren, and Anna Stone.
Hello. Hi. So tonight rather, so we had to
Yeah.
push back our time today because we had other stuff going on, and we won't be here next week because holiday week. But today and tomorrow we're going to be talking about some interesting things. Today we're going to be talking about people that don't have an inner voice, or
Right.
the ability to see.
Hi, Shika.
Hi, the ability
Okay.
to see images in
Mm-hmm.
the mind's eye, right? Otherwise known as aphantasia, right? So, but now there's this new disorder, is what it's being called as Anaduralia. So Anaduralia is the combination of no inner monologue and no inner visual ability to like visualize things that you haven't experienced.
It would be like the opposite of a psychic, right?
I guess, yeah. Yeah, I mean, when I found this out, I didn't even know this existed until probably 2 years ago when I read that some people don't talk to themselves in their head. And I was like, what? Like, what do you mean? No, you don't talk to yourself in your head. How is that possible? And it ruined my day. I was like, this is crazy sauce. Like, what do you mean? But then I posted something about it on Facebook and I got some comments from people who are like, yeah, I don't do that. And I'm like, what does that mean? So let's talk about what does that mean? Like, what does it mean if you don't have an inner monologue?
Yeah, I thought about that because at first I was like, oh, is it like me where I talk to myself when I'm shopping or, when I'm out doing errands, like I'll talk to myself, just out loud. But I've heard it's a sign of intelligence, but I don't know for sure. I definitely know it's wacky. Hi, Mark. And it's interesting, but like I never thought of it as like a thing where I didn't have an inner monologue, because I have a vast inner monologue,
right?
So like
I never even considered that people didn't have it, like, until I read that article and I was like, what? Like, then the questions came. How do you read if you can't talk to your, like, so when you're reading a book, right, like you're like, I'm reading it in my head, right? And I'm seeing the images that come with that. And so I guess that means that's not a thing for these people. And then when I've asked, they're like, no, I don't do that. I'm like, I don't know what that means. Like,
right. And when they say that to me, it's very foreign to me as well. And like I joke that it's like muggle versus magician kind of thing, but it really is, because when it comes to being psychic, like we see movies in our heads. And for me personally, it's happening all the time. And it always has since I was a child. And it's always spot on about what's going on in somebody's life and what's happening for them. And it just plays like stories.
Right. But I mean, like, even to a different like degree of like seriousness about this situation is like when I do something that I shouldn't have done or maybe didn't handle the best way, like I reflect on that internally, right? Like I will think to myself, like, Anna, you shouldn't have said that, you shouldn't have done that, you could have done this or that and the other thing. And it can be obsessive. Like I can definitely ruminate, like, and it's not good. But does that mean these people can't do that? Does that mean that they can't have like that self-reflective talk with themselves that you and I are very familiar with, right? Like, so
right, we coach ourselves,
right? So like in that case, then do these people, I don't know, that's why I'm asking. So if anybody that's watching has this, like, please inform us, educate us about this, because it's very foreign to me and it's really hard for me to wrap my head around the fact that you would not talk to, like, when I wake up, I'm like, what am I going to wear today? In my head, I'm thinking, what am I going to wear today? Oh, and not this, that, like my whole day is narrated. Entire day is narrated in my head. And I'm having like multiple streams of consciousness going on. Like if I'm right now, I'm talking to you, my brain's still thinking about some other stuff going on, like literally. And
yes, absolutely. I have movies playing in my head just about what you're talking about. Even I'm visualizing it as you're speaking it, because that's how my brain processes.
Right. So I mean, again, I didn't even know this wasn't a thing for everybody until recently. And now the research is coming out is saying that more and more people are being born without this. So it makes me wonder, like, are we kind of shifting to a more like emotionless, affectless kind of society here? Like, is that what's going on, or what's happening? Like,
I
what
don't
would
think
that
it's
mean?
emotionless, because I know, actually, I'm going to say this. The people that I know that suffer from aphantasia actually are more emotional, I've noticed, more passionate, and but they just don't have that vacation really from reality that we do. That's what
Okay.
I'm going to call it, because I mean, my inner life is much richer than my outer.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah, like, yeah, yes, 100%. Definitely. Like, I do a whole bunch of stuff in my thoughts. Like, yeah, in real life. Yeah, I know that feeling. But okay, so aphantasia is the inability to have mental images that you create in your mind's eye, right? Like, that's
Hmm.
so if you say guided meditation, envision, you close your eyes and envision this thing, they can't do that, right?
Right. And as people who do lead meditations, we have to adapt to help them, because
Would that
there's
be a
no way
feeling
they can
instead?
visualize. Hmm?
Would you ask them to then have a feeling or instead of a visual?
Yes, I would guide them in their body to where they feel, and I would like describe it like different things that they felt.
Okay, so that makes
So,
sense. So I can see how that would be a thing. But
yeah,
not
because
talking to yourself is like a
yeah,
different thing.
it is. Now that's a whole different thing. And Ashika says, "May I ask a question? Please go right ahead." Also, you look like Lily Bloom. I
I
don't
don't
know
know
who
who
that is. We don't know
that
who that is.
is. Yeah. I don't know. And but like what's your question?
Yeah.
Um
Um.
yeah, like
So
if and everyone again, if you know if this is you, we're not trying to be like this thing on anybody. We're curious about this topic because we
yes.
cannot relate. Like this is one of those things where I cannot put myself in someone else's shoes in this regard. Like I can do it for any other thing, but this
You
I
know,
cannot get out of my head about this.
and that's also, I agree with that, because like I was at my nail lady today, and she asked me what it's like for me. She goes, like, when you have a client or something, it's a
Character.
character for Colleen Hoover's book, It Ends With Us series. Oh,
Okay, I'll
cool.
look it up. We'll look it up and see. Okay.
Um, so what was I saying? Ooh,
Yeah.
crap.
So your nail lady asked you how it was for you. How it
Oh,
was.
yeah. Okay. So she asked what it's like for me, because she was like, do you need tools? Do you need anything? And I'm like, no, I sit down and it's like a conversation with a
Yeah.
person. And
Right.
and that's pretty much what it's like for us, because we're experiencing it all the time. I mean, I do have things like in my mediumship where if spirit sees me wearing a hat, they know not to talk to me,
Right.
because I had too many interruptions from people's past loved ones when I was trying to grocery shop. Like,
Yeah.
just grocery shop. I couldn't do it without getting visitations. I'm like, I'm in the freezer section, people.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and I just looked up Lily Bloom, and I guess I can see what you're talking about there. Yeah, thanks. I think she's cute. Thank you. It's like a Nina Sabari kind of thing. It kind of looks like her too.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, and with me, it's like, so I was thinking back to grade school, right? And like people that used to talk, like when we have silent reading time, and those kids that would have to say the words out loud when they're reading. And I was
Hmm.
wondering, is that those people that like can't have their inner monologue? Because like if it goes in their head, they can't do that. So they have to say it out loud to then hear it instead of
Or
just
do they not have an inner monologue at all? Like, is it just like there's nothing in there?
I don't know. Like I mean, it says that they don't know. So I'm gonna, there's some studies that have been done, but then again, the combined lack of the visual imagination, and they're saying it's imagination, which I don't know that I don't know that that's a fair representation to say that people don't have imagination.
Hmm.
Right, but because I can't fathom that, honestly. But the idea that you can't talk to yourself or give yourself mental pictures is Anaduralia. It's a newer thing, but aphantasia was first discovered or first coined in 1880 by
Okay.
Sir Francis Galton. And and this was about like he recognized that people, like patients, were like not able to form mental pictures in their heads. So,
Right,
and I don't
right.
know how he kind of came about that actually.
I wanted to address Ashika for a second.
Sure.
We will answer your question as soon as we're done with the discussion that we're having. We answer those kinds of questions towards the end. So please bear with us because while we're having the discussion, we answer questions about the discussion or ask questions for you guys to answer. Have any of you ever experienced anybody who doesn't have an inner monologue and only has an outer one? Or have you experienced anybody who doesn't have an inner imagination, somebody who can't visualize? I know 2 people off the top of my head who can't visualize that I know.
So we have, so I'm going to give you guys some facts, some history on this. Okay. So again, it was first described in 1880, and it's been relatively understudied since then, or unstudied since then. But it became renewed after publication in 2015 by the study from the University of Exeter, and they were talking about people that can't visualize things. So there's a couple types or subtypes, right? So there's the one subtype is spatial aphantasia, which is the inability to create mental imagery in the visuospatial aspect. Another is object aphantasia, the inability to create mental images of single items or events. Then there is hyperphantasia, which is the opposite, which is the condition of having extremely vivid mental imagery, which is what I guess you and I would have, right?
Yes.
So this phenomenon, again, he was first coined by Sir Francis Galton, and he was in a statistical study about mental imagery, and he found that this was really common among his peers. And he wrote, quote, "To my astonishment, I found a great majority of the men of science whom I first applied protested that mental imagery was unknown to them. And they looked on me as fanciful and fantastic in supporting that the words mental imagery really expressed what I believed everyone's supposed to have."
Yeah.
They had no notion of its true nature other than a colorblind man who was not discerned his defect had the nature of color. Like he just was like, I don't see color, so that's it.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So is this true? Is this true, Anna? Ashika said, yeah, I've read that close to 50% of people don't have an inner monologue.
Yes. Like that's the thing is like when it first was out, it was like not a lot. Like, and now it's jumping in numbers a lot. Hi, Ward.
Hi, Ward.
Now there's a lot of people that don't have it. Or maybe they didn't know about it beforehand, and now we have a word for it, and people are talking about it because at 2015. So it went from 1880, nothing, till 2015. That's a huge gap in study time. This huge gap in research. So,
what prompted the new attempt at research? Do we know?
So this University of Exeter study, and I can see if I can pull this up. Let's see, what is his name? Professor Adam Zeman. So I'll look this up while we, in 2015 they did it. So I'll try to find out what his study was about. Oh, I found it. Okay. Yeah, I don't know, but there's a video about it here. He talks about it. So, all right. Okay. So I found it. Let's see what it says. It says, it's okay. So aphantasia, we're just talking about aphantasia here though, is the inability to visualize, otherwise known as image free thinking. Hyperaphantasia is the opposite, where you have a lot of images. Okay. And let's see, Adam Zeman, he's a cognitive and behavioral neurology professor at the University of Exeter in the UK. And he coined the term aphantasia to describe the inability to visualize, images back in 2015. And he's like one of the biggest, experts on it. So there's an interview him, and it is hereditary. Let's see. He says that it is, they asked him, how's the brain different, and if it's is it inherited or if it's from trauma, right? And I would have to actually listen to that interview. So I don't know. Actually, I can't. I thought it was going to be the transcripts, but it's not. So I'd have to listen to it to find out. But yeah, so he's the one that came up with the term aphantasia. But the guy,
and he said it runs in families.
Could run in families.
Good.
Trauma really could be trauma related as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I wonder what portion of it is trauma related and what portion is genetic.
Yeah, so I'm gonna look it up right now. Let's see. And then I know, so ours hyperphantasia, right? That one is where you have it all the time. So that's like me and you, right?
Yeah.
It is extremely vivid mental imagery. Vivid as real seeing. So these are people that can see it. Yeah. Yep. That's what
Yeah,
it is.
as a kid, sometimes I couldn't tell when I was asleep or when I was awake because my dream time was so vivid as well.
Right. Yeah, that's what it
It
says
was
here.
like, and I would lucid dream so easily.
Well, it says that it turns out most people's thoughts and memories work at least a little differently by comparing to the mental imagery extremes of aphantasia and hyperphantasia. Like we're gonna see the difference here. So like it's a superpower. If they're saying it is the superpower would be that you don't see anything in your mind because you would be less stressed out, right?
I mean, yeah, or less traumatized. I mean, let's be honest. Like, I don't know how early you did, but my earliest ability was clairvoyance, and I saw dead people, like the little boy. Like, I see dead people. Like, that was what I saw. I saw how people were murdered. I saw, things that I shouldn't have seen at very young ages. I'm talking younger than 10 or 9 even, like a little girl. And I'm seeing murder. I'm seeing, all kinds of things, and it freaked me out.
Yeah, like it's scary and you don't know like what's going on. So is it actually like
Hi, Hanifa.
is it actually a function of physiology or is it something else, right? So
Right. So it's like I could see how either one could be traumatizing, right? Because it's traumatizing to see what we've seen, but it's
right.
also like, is it because of trauma that they can't see, or is it just they're just like that, and that can be rough in a very visual society like we have.
Okay, so we have this is the other superpower. It'd be hyperphantasia, right? So this I'm just learning for the first time
I
right now.
mean,
I just read this that this is above board sensory ability. Okay, so this is like you have a vision of 10 plus. Like you are able to see if someone gives you a description of something, you can see it play in your mind, like as if you're watching a movie, even if you've never seen it before.
right.
So like imagine a penguin hopping on a pogo stick through the Amazon jungle. Okay.
Yep.
Like,
Done.
can you picture that? All right. So then hearing. People that have hyperphantasia are very good at replaying music in their head, changing tempos, pitch, instruments played, notes played. 100% resonate with this. They're also clearly able to generate and hear distinctive voices, animals, more like the sounds, what they're coming from and where they're coming from. And then smell is like usually the weakest sensory of these people.
That's funny because I can predict what people will smell like.
Yeah, I mean that's just overall just it's still strong, but it's just the weakest one of this combination. And then but you as in remembering how something smelled, right? Like as in you're remembering it. So taste they can typically remember how something tastes very vividly as well, and then also how something felt with touch. And that's definitely true for me too.
Oh yeah.
And then where you are in time and space. So like if you close your eyes, you can, and you start like meditating or something, you can still know that you're sitting in a chair in the room. Like I guess that's a thing people can't do.
Oh wait, okay. So Ward just said this, and this is interesting. I want us to look at this one.
Oh wow.
Is it strange that I never hear any kind of sound in my dreams? I realized this after 26 years that I never hear sound in my dreams.
Huh.
Okay, well, now I've got questions. Have you ever brought this up to a doctor or anything? Because I'm interested if this is a neurological thing or if it's just a flavor thing, like this is you, this is what you do,
Right.
And then Hanifa said a couple of times I've experienced clairaudience. Okay. Yep. Yes. Hanifa, me too.
Wow. Oh my gosh, Ward. Okay. This is crazy. This is thank you for bringing this up, Ward. Oh my gosh, get this. You guys ready for this? This is nuts.
Okay.
None of us hear sound during dreams, but we know what sound would be like if we heard it in real life. So our brain extrapolates
Oh.
that, and we might hear a faint sound, but we know. So because of this faint mumbling that we are doing in our sleep, we're talking, like we're making noises with our mouth, even though they're not words. Our brain extrapolates that and then overlays it as a soundtrack.
Okay, that
None
makes
of our dreams
sense.
have
So you said
sound.
I only realized a few weeks ago, but the weird thing is I can tell what is told in my dream. Oh, me too. Me too. And I have had dreams where it sounds like they're underwater.
Yep. That's because it's us mumbling in our sleep, and then we're hearing ourselves, and then it's going and putting it as a transcript that doesn't exist. Isn't that crazy? Like, that's crazy. I did not know that. Thanks for that. Thanks for that
Oh,
comment.
I have a question for Hanifa because she said she's experienced clairaudience. Now, this is an interesting thing that I want to know because when I first experienced clairaudience, it was very high frequency, very high pitched, like it was muffled and had to come through, and it sounded like little squeaks through the veil. Now I hear it full blown because I had another initiation, but I'm wondering what it was like for you. Let's see what she says because I'm interested. Anna, what about you? The times that you've been clairaudient, what is it like?
It's like super fast and loud. Like it's right there, and I hear it like it's someone in the room talking to me. Or it comes over. The way that I describe it is like when you're teaching, and like if you're in a classroom, and then the teacher's talking, and then all of a sudden the PA system comes on, and there's like an announcement from the office that cuts off what the teacher's saying, and it talks over them. That's what it sounds like when it's in my head. Like,
ooh, okay. So, Bean Drinker. Actually, tomorrow they asked, what does it mean when you chew on glass? Does anyone know? Okay, so tomorrow we're doing dream interpretation on our 7:00 show, but I don't know what it means to chew on glass.
Yeah.
But I've also had the common dream of like all your teeth crumbling out of your head. That's a freaky one.
Right.
Okay, so Hanifa says it was very clear to be what an older woman's voice was saying to me. Oh, interesting. Now, was it a disembodied voice or were you hearing it in your head? Because there's two different things that could happen.
Oh, chewing on glass means you feel helpless.
Oh, interesting. So, okay. So because I actually had somebody ask me this today, they heard something that sounded like their child in the house, but it wasn't their child.
That's scary.
And so I asked them, I said, do you have a body of water near your house, like a creek or a river or something like that? And they were like, yeah, I have a canal. I said, there it is.
Yeah.
No teeth, just glass always, really, Bean Drinker says. Of course. Yeah, gotcha. Well, then now you know. So anyway, she said, I have a canal. And I said, that's the issue. Yeah. Water spirits.
Water all the time. Yeah.
Water spirits love to mess with people. And so if you have a home that's near flowing water, like be careful of what you hear, because sometimes you might hear something that they're just trying to mess with you about.
Right. But like, what was the message? Was it like a positive one? Was it negative?
It was just a disembodied voice of her child. Like it really freaked her out. And I was like, yeah, you just got to tell them that they're not welcome there, that they need to get the out,
Yeah, this is probably your higher, like what you're describing here might be your higher self talking to you, Hanifa. Like that's when I say like when it comes over the loudspeaker in my head, like whatever I'm thinking about at that time gets totally drowned out, and there's like this voice on top of it that's like my voice still, I guess, like a female voice, but it's telling me something important, like watch out for people in the road up there, like that one, that happened when that person stepped out in front of my car. That was really nuts. And then that's when I realized, oh wait, it could be my own voice, and it's still not just my imagination.
Right. It's our higher self.
Right. So the difference between that and like aphantasia or anaduralia of having none of that is like the opposite, which we have, which is a lot going on. Like I can't get my brain to stop to save my life. Oh, it's in your left ear. Yeah, then that's probably your higher self. Talking to you. And like, I think
I didn't know that was a thing.
that's what
So
they
right
say.
ear,
Who
left
knows?
ear is a
Who knows?
thing?
I don't really know. That's what they say. And who are they? I don't know. Like, it's just this. Yeah, I hate to
You know
say
what?
things.
Well, because I hear in my right ear the clairaudience.
Uh-huh.
So, but when I hear my higher self, it's in my head.
Well, okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess like sometimes, I mean, the disembodied voices, if you have a recorder in your house, you should be able to hear them, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I can. Whenever I have that happen, it catches it on camera and it's like, crap, I can't even say this didn't happen now. It's terrifying to me. But let me see if I can find out, because I know they say it's right ear, it's this, it's left ear. I don't know who they are though, so like that's my problem, like when you hear clear audience things, like does it really matter what ear you're hearing it out of? I don't know.
Not really. I mean, I just, for some reason, they come in on the right side for me. I have no idea why.
Right, it's saying, like, I'm looking at articles and they all have different answers, so I would just say that it would be, you probably would know better, like best,
Yeah.
That was a
Okay, so
stone
Ward
face.
says, I dreamed that I was a stone with a face. I was sitting in front of a campfire, and around me were children. I told the children how I was created, told a whole story about the existence of everything. The nice thing about this dream was that I saw myself telling the story to the children, but at the same time, I could also see the story I was telling as if I had an infinite view.
Oh,
Okay, so I want to answer this one
yeah.
because I do a lot of astral travel and guided astral travel. And Ward, what you did was astral travel in that dream. That's what you were doing. You were actually there in the astral, explaining infinity in another dimension. Like
From
that's
different
what you were
perspectives.
doing.
Right.
Ah,
Yeah.
see, yeah, he says I astral travel a lot.
Yep.
Okay, there you go. That's what you were doing.
Yeah, like definitely. Like that's because the fact that you can see from both perspectives, it tells me that, because that's how it
Mm-hmm.
was when I died and I was on the other side. I was like, I was in my position, but I could also see from a different perspective. It was very hard to describe, but very simple when you were doing it. Like totally
Right.
like second nature, but to articulate it in words is not, it's not possible really. Like
I don't know if you feel this way, but I want to put this one out there too, is that because we tap into another dimension so much, like the fourth dimension, fifth dimension, especially fourth doesn't have space or time. It's
right.
eternity.
Right.
Like it's just eternally the way it is, period. That's it. And so when we go liminal like we do, we easily astral travel. Like we're always like tapped in there, you know? And I think that might have a lot to do with our ability to visualize as well.
Well, and that's the thing. But so they're saying trauma could cause the inability to do it, but then also it could cause the ability to do it. So it's kind of like, who knows? At this point, I think more
Right.
it's only been studied since 2015. That tells me that we don't know jack shit about it, because not enough people have had time to actually do any kind of studies. And a lot of people, I mean, like myself, I think I learned about this 2 years ago. That's recent. Like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like say, what do you say? I am many times at a place when I don't know. Oh, hey, yeah, same here. I have the same place I go to all the time. All the time.
Oh, okay. So we travel to the same spots in the astral, usually because we've mapped them out before we even came here. So you have little areas in the astral that like are your healing places or places you go to recharge, especially if you have a hard soul path. Then you're gonna find yourself recharging on the other side a lot.
Right.
I actually take my healing clients through astral travel and help them map out the astral for themselves so that they can heal themselves in the astral. It's like a guide to understand, like, oh, hey, okay, I'm feeling this kind of way. I better go to my heart chakra garden. Or I'm feeling this way. I better go to my crown chakra crystal castle, or just all these things that like you make on the in the astral so that it can help you. And when you're going to the same thing and there's things happening with your body, it's also your soul's way of dealing with it, of coping with it, is by recharging.
Right. Yeah, like that's why sleep is important. Like a lot of times, and they'll say that, like, I mean, I've heard this too, and this is definitely like
Tom asked a good question too. He said, do you have inner sanctums or places you've built inside your mind through meditation that are representative of your own mind? Yes, absolutely. I don't know about Anna, but part of what I learned from my teachers was to build inner sanctuaries for myself and my inner child, and also any other aspects of myself that I've discovered through shadow work. Like my inner villain, my inner slut, my inner whatever, all these things that like we create in our mind,
archetypes of us, right?
Archetypes, yes. And so like it's better to create an inner sanctuary for them where they can feel safe and held and loved, and that helps incorporate more of being a whole person, a complete person.
Right. Yeah, because a lot of the time these structures that you're talking about are walled off, right, to the rest of it. So they're like kind of bricked up, like we put it away to hide it. So a part of like shadow work and stuff is to crumble those walls down and like be able to integrate it into like the whole. So they can be good and bad, like to have these kinds of different structures like within, but typically we make them without even knowing it, like when we're younger. And then it's when we're older that we do the work to like kind of open them back up and like make them, accessible so that we can get in there and fix what's wrong. Definitely, right?
Oh yeah, that's the key. Hanifa said, yes, you are correct about healing ourselves in the astral travel because it happened to me quite a few times. Yes, okay, there you go. And like instinctually as children we do this. Like I can tell you for sure my inner child has a whole fairy garden with a castle that she built when I was little, just when I would self-soothe. And also I astral traveled a lot. So what I do with people is I usually associate their inner child with their heart chakra. And your heart chakra is your connection to the earth. So I always go with it being a garden, right? Because then you can, nurture and fertilize and love your garden. And then, okay, so what did Ward say now? I feel myself aware on a spaceship. I am always blind in this place, but I am able to smell, hear, and feel. I hear other beings around me, and I even can touch them. They're grinding in my body. I even smell the smoke coming off.
Oh. Yeah, well, I mean, that could be like the, like DNA. Like, I mean, people say that there's those upgrades that happen, right? Like, right? I mean, that's what it could be, is like, preparing for next stuff. But like, one of the other things too is that a lot of people, and again, I don't know who these people are, but I'm just regurgitating information I've read, is like that when you're on a spiritual path or whatever, that there's a lot of things, and I'm guilty of this because I've been sleeping a lot lately, but like before I was always up because I had nightmares. I didn't want to have them. So I wouldn't sleep, or, like I would just stay up and deal with it. But now I haven't been doing that at all. I've been actually sleeping a lot, like way too much. So, but like they'll say that things will come and try to keep you from sleeping when you're on a spiritual path. They'll like try to keep you away from that ability to go and heal in those places and do that kind of stuff. So if there's something coming up in your life where you're always like short of sleep and you know what I mean, then it might be wise to kind of take a look at that and see.
Yeah, let's see. Okay, so Bean Drinker says, if you astro travel, do you wake up with your heart pounding and wet from sweat? That is a possibility, and that's also because your ethereal body, right, is kind of floating up above you. And so what happens is you slam back into your body, and so sometimes it can be a shock. And I've done that before where I'm like, or I shake all of a sudden because I slammed back into my body.
Yeah. And you're doing stuff. You're active in your sleep. So, I mean, I've woken up with bruises, like weird shit. Like I pulled my knee one time sleeping. I'm like, what was I doing? Like, are you kidding me? Like, I did. It's like you can have actual evidence of being busy in that realm. Like sometimes you wake up more tired than you were before you went to sleep. Like you're exhausted. Your muscles are sore. Like, what were you doing? And again, Western culture is the only culture collectively in this world, on this globe, that doesn't view the happenings during the dreamscape as serious. Like they don't view it as just as important as the rest of your day, where every other culture, all indigenous cultures and all like not Western culture, all of those people all view it as serious. Like, so if you have a bad dream, then that's like you need to talk about it. You need to like figure out why you were having that dream. There's a reason. So like they understand the psychology a lot better than we do. And maybe not on the terms that we do, but like their own explanations for it work for them. Like they get that it's important, right? There's always some subconscious thing that's coming at you in symbols. Like that's what they are.
Right. It's our subconscious mind communicating with us. Unless we're astral traveling, then you're really there. And like the more vivid the dream is, guys, the more you're really there.
Right. Like, and there's you can tell the difference. Like, again, you're like exhausted when you wake up. Like, what? And you can remember, like, when you wake up and you have like an idea of a dream you had, but like it fades away really fast. That's not this. This is like, exactly what you're doing and you can remember it like,
right.
Like you lived it because you did. Like, that's the spiritual consensus anyways. Science would argue, but that's what, and I've noticed that too. It's like, I can't forget those dreams. You can't forget them. They're like real.
So, exactly.
So does that mean that people with aphantasia can't dream? Like, because they can't visualize? Like, are they dreaming?
You know what? I need to ask the people that I do know with it whether they dream or not. I mean, I would think that that's such a good question. And then if they don't dream, do they astral travel? And if they astral travel, then there's so many questions. I wish we had somebody who like was affected by this on here.
I know.
But you know what? Actually, one person that I do know that has it does dream. She does dream.
Okay.
She just cannot visualize when prompted to do so.
Right. Okay. So, but our dreams are, who knows how we make our dreams either. I have no clue. Like, I know, like, I'm not sure. I think it's something with the pineal gland, right? Like, because there's photoreceptors in there, which have no reason to be there because it's internal structure in the brain that has no light source. So why would they be there? Yeah, like, I don't know. Like, it's one of those things. And like, I heard in Japan, this is terrifying, but in Japan, there was a announcement like about a year ago where they said that they were working on a machine that would hook up to your dreams and you could watch them again when you wake up. And I was like, I don't know if I want that.
Yeah.
That's terrifying to me. I don't know. That would be kind of crazy, right? Like if you could record your dreams. Like, I don't know how I feel about that.
That feels dangerous.
It does feel dangerous.
Like I'm already disturbed by some of my inner thoughts. I don't need anybody else disturbed by them,
Right. Mine don't make a lot of sense a lot of the time too. It's like, wait, what's going on here? Like, but they're interesting, I guess. But
yeah. And so guys, we're opening it up right now. It's that time for questions. But while we're waiting, we also want to like show what you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
So Tom says that mine is like a tall marble library filled with spiral staircases to nowhere and a morphing, glowing crystalline centerpiece that is sentient.
Ooh.
Well, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
That sounds really good.
It sounds like you're like up at with source there. That's what it sounds like.
Yes, for sure. And also maybe Akashic Records.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, definitely.
So then Hanifa says, one of my good friends who has passed away took me to places to help heal my problems in heaven. Okay, that's beautiful. And they do have healing centers on the other side.
Yep, that's what I...
Yes, and then Ward says, thank you for explaining. Bean Drinker says, I'm so tired after sleep. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I hear you today because I have had just the worst time today. I last night I had such vivid dreams that I felt like I was awake.
I don't remember any dreams last night. I passed out pretty hard, and then I slept till way too late today.
But, I wish I did.
Yeah,
I guess we traded.
Yeah.
Ward says, sometimes I astral, but before I astral, I visualize a clock and I do this calculation about time. I remember the outcome for 1 second always.
Oh, that's interesting.
Huh. And then Tom says, I think it's the subconscious processing emotional information you might not be consciously aware of, although this doesn't much account for prophetic dreams. I agree with that because like I can tell you based on a dream whether it's prophetic or whether it's my emotions, because the prophetic one will not feel like a movie as much as it's disturbing because it's a visitation. And I feel disturbed by visitations. I don't know about you, Anna, but when I receive a vision or a visitation, I'm not calm. I'm on edge, and it's usually revelation that I am not very happy about or I don't want to know.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the only time I've had a real like visitation dream was when my Uncle Terry died, and like he came and told me I was right about there being afterlife, and like, you know, it was the best dream ever because it wasn't a dream. Like I know for sure that was him visiting me. I had a lot of guilt over his death because he had called me and I said I'd call him back because I had the new baby. And I was busy and I was frustrated that day, and then I didn't call him back, and then he died, and like so I felt really shitty about that. And then he like came to me in a dream and was like, "Hey, it's all good," and it was crazy. Like I'm so grateful for that. But it's okay. These kinds of dreams are different categories. So like anyone that does dream analysis knows that like we all have different kinds of dreams. We have big dreams, which are the prophetic ones, and then we have mundane dreams, which are the ones where we're processing information from the day, and those are the majority of them. Like the majority are just those kind of like, you know, processing things that, because like you have to understand that like, okay, so when we walk in somewhere, right, like we walk into a room, our brain sees everything, like our eyes see everything, but we're only focused on what we're looking at, right? But it's still all taken in. So there's a lot of junk data basically, like that is all day long, and like when we go to sleep, our brains process that and toss out things and like keep other things that it feels might be important to us based on our history and things like it's very strange how our brains work. They're like computers. It literally is a computer. So it tosses out bits of information and leaves others. So there are definitely like everybody has both kinds of, well, not everybody has prophetic dreams, but everybody has the mundane dreams. And then some of us have prophetic dreams, and usually there's stuff that you can't really do much about, right? Like not helping you. It's not like right. Oh my gosh, this thing's gonna happen, I'm gonna go save everybody. No, it's like this thing's gonna happen, you have to sit and watch it happen, and that's it.
Yeah, and we'll talk about those tomorrow, guys, because we're going to be doing dream analysis and dream interpretation for you guys tomorrow. Right. So bring your weirdest, wonkiest dreams, because we're going to decipher them with you and psychically decipher them.
Yeah, because like I have that, you know, part of my grad school is like dream analysis, Jungian dream analysis, like what does it mean? And there's some really helpful things there. Like you can look up online, what does this mean in a dream? And like, it'll give you some kind of whatever, like information. But like when you look at it from a Jungian perspective, it makes a lot more sense. I don't know. That guy was so connected and it's crazy. Like I know he was a little nuts, but still my favorite.
Oh, he was onto something. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, he was. Well, he died. He had a near-death experience. So, and then after that, that's when he decided to get in, you know, all about this stuff. The collective unconscious came from his own experience. So, and you don't learn that stuff. They don't tell you that stuff in like undergrad, right? Like they don't tell you like, oh yeah, by the way, he was also kind of crazy. You know, and his mom was a psychic. You know, his mom was psychic, and he had toys that he gave names to and thought they had feelings and things like that. Like so, yeah, he was a little bit special, but you know, my kind of special.
Oh yeah, our kind for sure. We're the weirdos, mister.
Yeah. If you guys have questions for Tarot, let us know.
Yes. Any questions? Anybody ask us? We're here. I'm directly channeling tonight, and I also, if you have any ailments, I will be doing free Reiki, distance Reiki. So if you've got anything that's like hurting or you need kind of sent some Reiki to, I will do it.
Yeah, and like one of our other viewers, he always watches later. But Dominic, hi. We did that for him. I remember and then he made a comment about how it worked. Like after like a long time having this problem, that his ankle's better. Like so, that's really great news.
Yeah,
and we appreciate you, Dominic, sharing that with us. That's very
Yes. Oh, Ashika says yes, knee pain. I will work on that while you work on Mark's question.
okay.
So I'll post his question while I send Ashika some Reiki in the knee.
Okay.
Yes, Hanifa, I can also help you with sciatic problems. Absolutely. I'm just going to work on Ashika's knee pain first, and then I'll move to you. Okay. I'm going to a crystal. There we go. Sometimes I need a crystal to help with it. And what I'm using is fluorite. It's a master healer stone. It's really great. And this one's kind of cut like a D&D dice or something.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Anna. You wanted to read for Mark?
Yeah. So what I'm hearing, like what I got here from your cards is that like you understand that right now this is a long-term goal that's happening, and what just happened now is like a short-term win that they just took credit for, right? But you like also you need to remember that this is a long-term thing, and it's might be time for you to kind of take a step back and look and see, are you focused on the right tasks for the goal that you're trying to reach, right? And also like, so there's this encouragement to look at the long-term view and assess where you can best invest your time and energy with the maximum output. It's not going to be wise for you to continue to keep putting your heart and soul into something that's not going to reap the rewards of your work. And like, there's people that are just trying to energy sap you in this regard, right? So, but you also need to know too that this is the work that you've already done is going to be reaping rewards like in the future, and you definitely have made some big change in this area. And let's see, there's like this energy of frustration with everything, and obviously, okay, and I get that, but it's basically telling me that right now, it's going to work out, but it's not clear yet as how that's going to happen. So I'm going to pull a couple more cards and see. Okay. And I'll get back to you in a second. I'm going to pull some more cards though. Okay. Stephanie.
Sure. Okay. So, let's see. So, was it Hanifa? Yes, she asked me to send something to her sciatic. And Mark, I see that you said we should have a link to send donations during the stream. You appreciate our time. Thank you. We will by tomorrow. We'll post our PayPals so that people can give us tips. And so Hanifa says, can you do something about my sciatic problems, please? Yes. So Hanifa, what I want you to do for me is I want you to put your left hand here for me on your third eye. And then I am going to have you put this hand, your right hand, where the sciatic pain is. And I'm doing it as well at the same time because I feel your pain right now. And it's close to my hip. It's like where my butt meets my hip. And I'm sending you Reiki right now. I hope you're doing the same with your hands as I'm doing. Maybe take a deep breath for me. While I'm doing this with Hanifa, if you want to go ahead and read,
I'm just looking like, so there's this issue about so it's like saying not to put any more money towards this at all right now. Right now. And to pull back, like I hate to say this, but it's kind of like you need to pull back your resource, like whatever you were giving them gains, right? Like you're the one doing a lot of the legwork and stuff like that. So it's time, you got to stop doing that right now, and like have them have to see what an integral part you were to this team. Like but it doesn't. I mean, it looks like someone's gonna reach out and like an olive branch is gonna be reached, but I don't know that you're gonna be willing to take it at that point. Like, I mean, so I don't know. Like it looks like this might be time to reassess like what's going on. If people are letting these little tips get in the way, it might not be the best. But at the end of the day, the work you've done is definitely impacting the situation, and it's going to reap long-term benefits for you. But like again, these people are just. It might be time for you to just withdraw your energy from them completely, and then let them come to you. I'm sure that's not what the answer you want, but that's what it's saying right now. Because they kind of like backstab you, you know. So.
Okay, so the next one is, oops, wrong one.
Devil.
Okay, there it is. Is it possible to ask what my aura is? Yes, Ward. Actually, okay, so I see you. You have a blue with some purple aura to me, and I think you need to look up what a blue flame is. That's a type of healer.
Yeah.
Somebody who accesses higher dimensions, and I really feel like you've got that going on.
Yeah, I see blue also, like blue and light blue, like light electric blue, like electric.
Yeah, and like
neon blue, like a very bright.
Yeah, like the cobalt, bright blue, and then like to me, there's indigo in it too. And so I thoroughly feel you need to look that up. What is the blue flame?
Yeah. Thanks. Okay, so Ishan. Okay, so.
Okay, you guys are so welcome, all of you.
Yeah.
So do we see Ashika and Ishan dating in the future?
He's like King of Wands energy. Okay, so dating in the future. Okay. Oh, it's possible. There's a sun card here. If that's what you want, I guess. Like it looks like he's busy. Like he has a lot of stuff going on. Let's see, but yeah, you know what?
Unavailable is what I'm seeing. Like he's not available to you enough. Is that correct? It seems like he's not making himself available.
Yeah, he's got he's busy like doing stuff. It looks like.
Yeah,
well, there's that.
Okay, well, there we go. There's that.
There's that, yeah. But yeah, like actually, I mean, it does look like there's the possibility here, but like, it's gonna be a really hard thing to do. Like
a hard road.
A lot of stress and you know, yeah, like it just looks like, I mean, yeah, definitely a possibility, but and there's like some lust kind of stuff going on. Like it definitely looks like, because you got the lovers here, so it's like, ooh, hot and heavy, but I don't know how long that lasts because of the absence. You know, like there would be a constant absence and constant attention from other women might be a lot of crap. You like a lot to take, you know? Like, yeah, that's never fun. Like, it's not fun.
No, I see a lot of management having to go on for the two of you, like time management, also management of emotions, feelings, jealousies, all kinds of things, you know, like when a career like that takes takes center stage because it has to, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
You have to just
personal. It's not personal.
deal with it.
Stop.
Yeah, he's very good. Yeah, okay, honey. I've been with people like this. Yeah, you just need to learn how to manage the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And manage your feelings and be careful. Okay. So Bean Drinker says, do you see mine? And I'm assuming you mean aura, and yes, I do. So to me, your aura has a lot of red and orange in it, which to me indicates that you've got some root chakra and sacral chakra stuff going on. I even dare say you've got some pelvic floor stuff going on. Let me know in the comments if I'm correct.
Mm. Oh.
So let's see if Bean Drinker answers me. And then you said, okay, so Hanifa says, my ex-boyfriend who passed away, was he really in love with me or was it just lust?
I think it's both.
Yeah.
He was lusting after you, but he also had things. But this guy, I feel like he was kind of a player, like a kind of smooth talker. He hid behind his own.
Infatuation is the word I'm getting.
Yeah, I think he's still infatuated. Frankly. Even now. Like I feel like that. Like he's still a little bit infatuated. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Like I mean, he's still on the other side, like going, damn. Like yeah, it's like damn fine. Like yeah, like I just get that vibe. But yeah, definitely. That's so funny. Yeah, I think I feel like he's been around your readings before for some reason. Maybe I'm remembering wrong, but yeah. So I just got another message in a personal chat right now about us, Stephanie. I'll have to read it to you later, but it's nice.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So yeah, anyone else have more questions? And then tomorrow, like you guys, if you have dreams, like think about it. Like any dreams you have that have been like upsetting, traumatizing, even like recurring. Like those are the ones. If you have a recurring dream and you don't know what it means, or even if you think you know what it means and you just want to run it by, like that, because recurring dreams are important. Like they're trying to tell you something and you're not getting it. Like if they're still happening, then you don't know it yet. And that's kind of because once you understand, it goes away. And that's what happens.
Oh yeah.
They just stop. So write them down and like. So
Hanifa didn't understand our answer. So our answer is yes. He has both love for you and lust for you, and he comes around you still and thinks you're hot.
Yeah.
And Ashika says, I never remember my dreams, only get deja vu sometimes from life instances. Okay, well, we'll talk about that tomorrow too, because there's a difference between deja vu and deja rêve. So deja rêve is when you've dreamt of something and then it happens. Deja vu is when you feel like it's happened twice.
Yeah.
And we will talk about that tomorrow for sure. No serious business, but headed to the DMV tomorrow. Will the task be successful? Yes or no? I get a resounding yes.
Yes, but not very fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll be fast. Let's hope that.
Right. But it's a yes.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Hanifa says, thank you. You're so correct. Ha ha ha. See?
I know. Like this guy is like comes around a lot. Like whenever that energy of like, damn girl. Like just like looks at you like you're just keeping yourself up really nice is what I hear. Like that's what I hear from him. Is like you're taking care of yourself, like, and you in comparison to maybe some other people that you knew back then with them, like not so much they aren't, but you are. Yeah, sorry, Tiffany. We wish we had like,
Yeah. I know. I have to go to the DMV too. It's not fun. I don't have to do it this week though. I get to wait. I have an appointment.
I did it recently to get my real ID, whatever. And like what Tom is saying, I was super nice and like super pleasant. And like the lady behind the counter was like irritated with me being pleasant, but she was way nicer to me than she was with everybody else. And I was like, I know, like, just say like, how's your day going? I always ask everybody how their day is going.
Yeah. Like, well, they put up with people on their speakerphone cussing into the speakerphone in the waiting area. Like it's insanity. It's the DMV. So
yeah, so like be that breath of fresh air that they're not going to get elsewhere that day and help, Oh, thank you. Yeah, they're cool. They're the Hecate wheel.
So cool.
I'm not going to talk about where I got them, but yeah, they're cool. Yes. So yeah, but you guys, like write down dreams if you have, and then we'll analyze them for each one.
That's funny. Morningstar says, does everyone keep falling off the broom for the driving test or what a phobia regarding the DMV? You know what? I never had to have a broom test at the DMV. That's the problem, maybe.
Well, like, I mean, no one knows how to drive. like people drive like shit these days. And they make you it's a harder test too. Like now you got to do all the parallel parking. I didn't have to do that growing up when I got I drove this at 16 on my 16th birthday. Like I was just driving a stick shift. But now no one knows how to drive a stick shift and no one knows how to drive. Like, swear to God.
We're getting there. I know. And these younger kids just don't even want to start driving either.
My oldest daughter didn't learn to drive till she was like 23. And I was like, what is wrong? Yeah, why? And she's like, I don't trust people. And I'm like, well, you're not wrong.
Yeah, really. Oh, and then Ward says, the blue flame, I read about it. Very interesting. Okay, so Ward, let me tell you something about the blue flame. I am a keeper of the blue flame, which means that I have healing abilities. And that's what it usually means. But it also means that you're able to access higher dimensions in order to help people heal with the laying on of hands. And so it's something that you can go to a Reiki master or a shaman or somebody and learn more about this ability. It's very helpful to go to a teacher or to find a teacher to teach you about these things. Yeah. And I also mentor people one-on-one. You just go to my spiritual counseling booking sessions on my site. And I do them as well. Like I will mentor one-on-one if you need anything like that.
And that's for the heal, like when you find out if you have like a purple flame or a violet flame or a blue flame, right?
Right.
Yeah. And like, I think if you should learn to see your own aura too. Like you can do that. You might want to take a picture of yourself, start with a picture of yourself or something. But it's really, I think anyone can do it. Don't you think? I feel like almost anybody could do it if they knew how to do it. Like if you told them how to do it, you could do it.
Where does someone find the local Hogwarts in their area? You know what? We need one at this point, but there's a lot of really good mystery schools online. Actually, if you wade through the crap and you wade through like the Starbucks Frappuccino basic white girl crap.
Yeah, that's
stuff that we see online, and actually get to like people who live the path and teach it, then you'll be good. But like somebody who's just like these weekend priestesses or something, they're not living the life and so they can't really teach you how to live it if they're not on it, right? If they're actually like a little Miss CEO priestess, like it doesn't work that way.
I love this conversation in the chat right now. It's so cute. Yeah. No. So this is great. So, first of all, Tom's asking, Morningstar's asking, where do they find a local Hogwarts? Okay. And it depends on where you live. You can find some stuff. If you go to like Meetup, has some stuff in there. Like if you go to Meetup, you can find some things in your area, people that are like-minded. That's been helpful for me. And then Ward says that, here, let's put this up. Ward says that my grandmother told me she was Native American. She used to say I'm a neo shaman, and yes, I see my aura, but often it's pink. So our auras change color too. It's not like there's a static, like a standard color that you would have like all the time, and then based on other things, it's like a mood ring, like kind of like how
I have to just blurt this out to Hanifa real quick. She just said her daughter-in-law is pregnant. Can you tell me what she is having? I see a girl.
Ooh.
Sorry to have interrupted that one because it blurted out of my mouth. So grandmother told, okay, so yes, our auras change as we're experiencing things. Right. And the blue flame thing will never go away for you.
Right.
And like people like us can just see it on you.
Yeah.
You can't help it.
Yeah. And I think like most people can see auras, but they just don't know what they're seeing, I think maybe is the thing. Because it's a real thing. We can measure it scientifically. So, you know, but yeah, like it might be different. And maybe we see it different on ourselves and other people see it. I don't know if that's a thing or not, but
right.
Maybe.
Right, because like I see auras, but I also see if somebody has markings on their forehead or their chest, or if their grandmothers prayed over them, I can see the prayers. Or if they have runes in their skin, I can see the runes.
Oh my God, you scared the crap out of me with that one. Yeah, I can remember.
I actually have a friend who I didn't know that she was of Celtic descent. I had no idea. To look at her, you wouldn't know. And I saw a Trinity knot on her chest. And she was like, oh, my mom practices Celtic magic and she's Celtic. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's your grandmother's prayers, like right on your chest, inscribed.
Yeah, see, Morningstar said, I painted my nails black for nothing, hella well, apparently. And then I know the giant star in people's homes mark the witchy, but like, okay, if you have a giant star on your house is haunted. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say that. Like all those ghost shows always show go into some house with that big metal star on it and they're always haunted. Like, like it's like that's a sign of me saying not gonna rent there, like because I'm okay with that. I don't want any more ghosts around me.
This is a really good question right here that I want to show. Can past trauma block our spiritual abilities? I wanted to learn and develop any ability I may have, but I'm either not gifted versus blocked. Okay, so and then Tom had asked something earlier about little ways to test psychic ability. So,
or like reading, I think it was about like what like references or whatever to learn
it. And okay, so the number one thing, guys, you can do to boost your psychic ability is first the intent, wanting to have it.
Yep.
Second is meditation.
Yeah, as much as I hate that, it's true.
Yeah, and I'm terrible at it, but I have to do it every day because my pineal gland needs it, my kundalini, that rose, needs it. And so it feeds it. It feeds also my healing ability. So I have to continually do it. It is a technique that will help decalcify your pineal gland because you're getting quiet with yourself. Now, can past trauma block gifts? From what Anna and I have learned through research and what her research that is being has been published, correct?
Yeah.
And they're further researching is that trauma actually makes you more psychic.
Right. But the effects of trauma could have you compartmentalize some of your abilities. Like, so people can be blocked. Like when I was 12, I started reading tarot cards and I went to a tarot card reader for, I guess it was right when I first turned 12. My mom actually took me and did something with me, took me to get my card read. And the lady looked at me and she goes, I can't read your cards. You're blocked. You blocked me. And I was like, sure. And she's like, well, I'm going to teach you how to read them instead. And that's when I got my first like coaching on it. Right. Like actual, so I guess I was 11 when I got my first deck then. Geez. So yeah, because fear, right? If we live in fear and trauma typically causes fear, then it can absolutely have us, because we develop those abilities around the same time when we have trauma, and that is impacting us long term in our life, right? So if we have combined those things together, they might be suppressed together also, like if that makes sense. So yeah, so it is possible. So like Stephanie said, the best thing you can do is like do a little ritual for yourself, like light a candle and be like, if I have these abilities, I want to develop them. I want to hone them. And like, I'm asking now for them to be given to me. Like, but then be careful what you wish for, because
I was just gonna say that.
Because what happens typically is you do that, and then you get, you like burn the paper that you wrote it on, or whatever, and you send it out, like blow the ashes into the wind, whatever, and be like, "There's my intention, bye bye." And then nothing happens the same day or whatever. Maybe it does, but probably not. And then like a couple weeks later, all of a sudden, boom, shit starts happening, and you're like, "What's going on? Oh, I asked for this." That's right. Yeah. So.
And also, I'm going to add to that is the thing that you're usually scared of is usually the thing that you're most powerful at. or the thing that seems the most like overwhelming is usually because it's so powerful. And so you need to lean into that, which is a very frightening thing. And I'm going to say I'm not exempt from that. I personally have had visions from deities that scared the bejesus out of me, and I wanted to run in the other direction. But because I've been tasked with serving like I am here on this path, I got to face it and lean into it.
Right. Same. Like I've been seeing, it sucks. Spirits, whatever, since I was a kid, but I denied it. I'm like, no. But damn it scares the shit out of me every time. Like, and I hate it. But at the same time, it's like, I know that that's a thing, like, because I catch them on camera. Like I so it's not just my imagination. Like, thank God, because otherwise I'd be insane. But so the fact that I actually can back it up with evidence, then I'm like, okay, well, why is this well, because why can I do it? Because I'm supposed to do it. Like, that's why. And that sucks because I don't want that, but I'd rather have the clear audience, although that scares me as well. It's hard to not be scared.
Okay, so Morningstar just put something up that I want to discuss because this is something interesting.
I get this too. I feel you on this one.
Okay, so Morningstar, I was actually initiated on the left-hand path in 2020. And I have been on ever since. And what I have to say to you is this: whether you believe it or not, I am God and so are you.
Right.
And so it's terrifying to realize that you can be a God, right, of your own reality. But it's also amazing and emancipating and empowering to know that you can handle your own reality, that you can create, that you are a creator. Yeah. And like, that's what we're here to do, is create. Like, why do you think we create art? Why do you think we cook? Why do you think we have hobbies or, all these things? Because as a human, like gardening, even, we have a need to create. Why do we have babies? All of these things, because we're literally made in an image and likeness of the void, of the portal, of her. And so that's what we have as women between our legs. We have a literal portal of creation. And so when we're not creating life, then we've got to create in this realm in other ways. And that's where manifestation comes in too.
Yeah. I mean, like, what does it mean though when you say you're terrified of being God sparkles in the dark sunlight? What do you mean? You mean like you're terrified of being like, she's like kind of more like hippy dippy, like loving rainbows?
Or are we talking about like the vampire thing because you're afraid of living forever? And when in fact we do live forever, like eternity is a thing. Like no matter what, you wake up from this dream, because this is more dreamlike than your actual self.
This could all be a dream. We could all just
and you're gonna wake up from this dream and be like, oh, I'm infinite.
Okay. God is eternal is more of an argument than it's more of an argument with my own logic. I mean, yeah, like I think a lot of us have it's like a lot to think of when we're saying that we are our own like gods, because that means that we're responsible for everything, all of it, right?
Yeah. Like when I say that, what I mean is that stomach issues. Bean Drinker said, "Okay, there we go. Finally got back to me. Yay! Okay, so." I'd love to send you some stomach healing energy to Bean Drinker. And to Morningstar, what I have to say is like, our souls are eternal. Okay? Like, you are not this body. This body is just a vessel. And on the left-hand path, what we learn is to surrender over and over and over again, amor fati, right? To be in love with our fate, because we're already here. We surrender to it and embody in the human so that we can live the best like human experience we can.
Oh my gosh, you're reminding me of like my AI conversation. Remember with the chat bot about reality? So I got on chat, whatever that one is, the AI thing, and I was like, hey, it did not answer me the way I was expecting it to. It said, I was like, am I in a simulation? And the answer was, no one knows for sure if you're in a simulation. But the best just the best advice is to just live your life that you have now as if it's the life you have now. And I was like, I don't like that answer. I'm like, okay, who wrote the simulation? Like, no one knows who wrote the simulation was the answer I got. And I was like, and I'm like, can I hack the simulation? They're like, we don't think hacking the simulation is possible, but you could try. Like, what?
Wow.
Yeah. Like, it's kind of scary. I don't either want to babysit others, Morningstar. No.
And that's the beauty of it, is if you do the left-hand path right enough, like correct enough, you're not babysitting others, because you believe in their sovereignty and you believe in their free will, and they can choose for themselves to be a creator god or not. It doesn't matter. Like, what matters is what you do on this path, not other people.
Yeah, we can be dual like that. That duality is okay. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with it. Like, we don't have to be out in the open for everything about us, right? Some facets of our personality are fine to be out in the spotlight, and some of them are not. So that's up to you. And I think that you can definitely do that just fine. I think we all do that in some capacity or another. But if Sheldon were actually Batman, then it's my clothes. No problem. Yeah, I feel you. Like, I don't like to have all of my stuff out on blast either. But like, some of it I'm okay with, some of it I'm not. Right. Yeah. So, Hanifa, did she decide that she doesn't want to do healthcare?
Yeah, is she done with healthcare, Hanifa? We want to know. Because, like I said before, I see her traveling. I see her doing something where it's with food and off in a different area.
Yeah. I mean, or like just care. I mean, I guess caring for others, but like in some different way.
Yeah.
One way that doesn't get you like spat on and kicked and like treated like
right.
Hospital, right? Yeah. She wants to do both. Yeah. Oh my God. So that means that you had to talk with her since our last reading about it, and like that ended up being a thing. So that's crazy. Like, yeah, you just have to be when are you traveling again?
Oh, Mark wants to know when he's traveling again.
Hey, do you see anything, Stephanie? Let's see. I'll pull my card. See?
I see 3 to 6 months for a big trip.
Oh.
Like, we're talking like in a plane.
Yeah, I saw that in the last reading too. Actually, it was showing that you were traveling overseas.
Yeah.
I just didn't say anything because I wasn't what your question was. Sorry, but I saw it said overseas, like overseas. Yeah. I don't know where that is too, but
and he says that's what I meant, overseas. Yeah. Oh, good, perfect. Yeah. There we go.
3 months, 3 months ish. Is that what did you say?
I said 3 to 6.
I see like around 3, 4. Yeah, so soon, like by fall probably.
And for your local one, 3 months. I feel like at the most, almost maybe even August.
Yeah, 2 months. I got like 2 months for that one.
Yeah, for inside travel.
Yeah. So like, yeah, by August, 2 months, like from now, like the end of August. Yeah. Yeah.
He said both had meanings. Okay. Well, 3 and then 6. That's what we see.
That's right. Yeah.
2 and 6. But
yeah, 2 and 6. 2 and 6 in between. I think that one's gonna come up unexpectedly.
Hanifa said she was planning to go to Japan. Okay.
But everyone's traveling? What the hell?
I knew she was traveling.
You did.
And Bean Drinker says thanks. Okay, good. If you want an in-depth healing with me, guys, go to my website, and I do an hour to 90 minutes worth of healing, and I'm mastered different healing modalities, so I can help you if you need an in-depth healing. Okay.
Yeah. So this is like it's gonna come, Mark, for something with this whole situation. It's gonna prompt you to have to take a trip, and like it's gonna be some kind of like and it's not gonna have like the vibe of it's not gonna be so fun, but it'll work out the way it's supposed to.
Mark, I see you going east.
Right.
And then Morningstar says it's definitely less difficult than let's change your tire. The weight of my idea of what a god would be judges me all or nothing logic. Oh, that's a human belief system that they imposed on a god, right?
Right. Not accurate. Like
not accurate at all.
When I died, like I didn't get any of that. I judged myself. I did. It was me. Like all of a sudden it's like I get back and I have the understanding of what I was supposed to do up until that point. It didn't give me anything for future though. Funny. But like up until that point, like here's what I was supposed to have done. And did I meet my own expectations? That's the judgment. Had nothing to do with an external source judging me at all. It was me.
Yeah, no, it's all us. We are the ones who are responsible for that.
Right. And like that's how it was. And it was like, oh, I could have done better here. Here's where I failed. Like it was really brief.
Eric, I see you going on a car trip in 2 weeks.
Ooh, car trip.
Yeah. But I mean, we could be like any kind of car trip really, but I see you going on a car trip. And Morningstar says, my limitations are internal. You want to answer Mark about out of state?
I'm looking right now. I'm looking at hang on, see. I don't see like not necessarily out of state in 2 weeks. Like I see like maybe just like not far, like an hour or something like
yeah.
Like, not very far, but I feel like it's something to do with medical. I don't know why, but like something to do with a medical thing. I don't know. Here.
And then Morningstar, you said my limitations are internal. I'm going to repeat myself what I said earlier. I do spiritual counseling on my website, and under that, I also do mentoring. So if you need a mentor or a teacher to teach you these things and teach you how to go with the laws of the universe and go with the flow and learn how to be in flow, then I do that. It's $50 an hour, and it's one-on-one, which is very reasonable. You know, a lot of these coaches and teachers have like thousands upon thousands of dollars in their packages, and I just think that's outrageous and not feasible for the normal everyday person.
Right.
So yeah. So if you want an accessible teacher, that would be me. Go to our website, thegypsysiren.com, and you can see under my spiritual counseling, you make a session, we get on Zoom, we talk, and I coach you and I teach you how to witch, basically. And it's very helpful. I've taught many people how to do it and turn their lives around.
Yeah, I think also just getting some background on how religion was derived, like those kinds of things are helpful.
Right. We're not talking about religion here. We're talking about energetic
idea of God. Right. But the idea of God, like the idea that it's this all-encompassing thing, where did that come from? Right. Like who said it? Where are those origins? Because when you understand what was behind that driving force of the narrative we've all been shoved down our throats our whole lives, like then it makes it a lot easier to detach from that, like than it would be otherwise. I think personally, like I have a lot of students that when I teach world religion, they come to me and they're like, oh my gosh, and I don't come at it from a witchcraft perspective. Oh, I'm just teaching. Like I don't biases at the door. I just teach facts. Like, and they'll be like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize this makes so much more sense to me now. And they're able to kind of get away from some of the more like hard-lined ideas and concepts that we have about this stuff, but
Hanifa, I want to answer your question. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised by her decisions when she's in Japan. I don't think you need to worry at all. I think she's going to flourish, and I think you just need to hold on tight because I think she's going to really surprise you with how good she does.
Right. And Morningstar, like again, this is what I'm saying right here. This is because it's man-made. It's all man-made stuff. Like this is man-made, man concocted, and there's agendas behind it. Always, there's always been an agenda behind it. So this is,
Yeah,
I agree with you.
We talk about laws. We talk about energetic laws. We're talking about like the 12 universal laws.
Yeah,
And what those apply to is when you put your energy a certain way, you create flow in your life. And when you create flow and surrender to the flow and not fight against it and force against it, then your life becomes easier. That's what we're talking about.
And a lot of times that those laws, that the thing we're blocking is something that has to do with these hard, like very ingrained beliefs that we were brought up with. And we're trying to meet those at the same time of having like abundance, and it's not working because they're clashing with each other. Because you're right. Yep.
Tom says, my intuition has been on fire. I know when things are going to happen before they happen. Is this a gift I can grow? Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said before, meditation helps this grow. And like also getting the stress out of your life more and more as you can, like the more blissful you get, the more these things are going to hit harder.
Yeah, it is weird. Like the more, like, I hate to say it because it sounds so cheesy, but it's true. It's like the more positive and like at peace you are with yourself, the more stuff happens for you that's in that same line and like allows you to be more connected. Because I think like our state that we're supposed to be in is one of peace and like,
peace, happiness, bliss, like that's supposed to be our default state.
Right, but it's not.
Like, the way that our society is built and the way that things are, it's like a torture chamber, on a daily basis. And we have to learn how to overcome that.
Yeah, I saw this comedian. Remember, I posted it on Facebook, right? Where you saw the one, his skit. He was like, so, like, hey guys, you ever notice how like everything's basically invented, made up, and it all sucks? Like, why did we make it all suck? Like everything that we do in life, like from bills to like everything is all made up. We made it up, like that it has to be a thing. Like, why can't we just be like, it doesn't suck anymore? Like, just say it, like make it that way, And I'm like, yeah, I know, right? That seems
you can train your brain with affirmations. When I left my ex, I started doing affirmations daily of just I am Stephanie to establish my identity away from him, so that I was establishing my heart chakra in a more solid place because it was so broken.
Yeah.
And so affirmations like I am intuitive. I know when things are going to happen to me and others around me. Those are things that you can say during meditation to coax your mind into easing into it.
Yep. Yes, and this right here, the common thread I found close to universal law is that gifted people are marked similar regardless of religion. Yep. And every psychic also seems to have been around ET. Yep.
Yes, we have.
Yep. This is very true. And I published research, like there's research that I recently published about this. Like 97.5% of people that are psychic have the same backgrounds. So that is, and that's scientific fact. That's from actual research that's peer reviewed and all that. So you're right, that is true. And because again, the reason why is because man made religion, like source made the universal truth, right? You know what I mean? So like, of course it transcends religion because it has nothing to do with that. It has, you can't help what you're born into, right? Yeah.
So, okay, I don't know about reading palms, so I'm actually interested in this one. I spend my spare time smoke testing palm lines, trying out the hand signs that result in specific markings. Line, for instance, is called the insanity line. That's very interesting because we've talked about that in previous podcasts of ours. You can go back and see our recordings. And we always say, we've had psychological evaluations to rule out any kind of schizophrenia or anything like that would create, these types of hallucinations.
Right. Because like I as a scientist, I needed to know that I wasn't. First of all, I needed to know, am I crazy? Because if I am, then I need help. But second, like if I was going to accept it as a truth of myself, I had to have a scientific footing to stand on and be like, look, I already did this assessment, like they already ruled these things out, so it's not that, and that's the only way I was able to actually kind of come to terms with it as much as I can right now. So, and I still struggle with it. Like I can't lie. Like, I mean, Stephanie's way more in it than I'm still have a lot of questions and a lot of like doubts about myself and stuff like that all the time. I can't help that. That's just how I am scientifically like wired. But it's definitely that psych will help to rule that shit out. Like definitely.
Oh, definitely. And then it's just a headline that ends on the moon. These people have more vivid experiences, it seems, because your daydream world is blended into reality, wide open, third eye. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, when I was younger, I had a holistic healer see that about me, and she was very worried. And like she tried to tell me to cancel it out, like to try and close it, because she was so worried because I was accessing things that I shouldn't. And she was worried about that. And when they say shouldn't, that was her own programming that she was worried about. It had nothing to do with reality.
Right.
And so I was in my 20s when this happened, and I tried real hard, and it made me physically ill to try to block it.
Yep. Yeah, it'll get worse. Like if you try to block whatever like if you have whatever your gifts are, clairaudience, clairvoyance, whatever. If you try to like deny that, just be ready for that, because it's gonna make it worse. It does. It makes it worse. Like for a little bit, you'll have some solace, a little bit, and then at some point, stuff will start going to the point where you can't deny it anymore. Like it'll get, and then other people will witness it too. Like I've had many people in my presence that have been like, "What in the hell is happening?" Like that, Stephanie too. Like what's going on here? This is not normal. Well, I'm sorry, I'm not normal. Like
I'm not. Yeah, like people will like go, because like I'll say something that like is spot on, and it's just because it's playing in my head like a movie, and so I have to tell them. And
you just got an email about that. Like that email I just got is about something that we said in the live, and like I guess this lady is really just very much like, oh my gosh, you guys nailed it. Like and it's and it is like you can go to psychics, whatever, and they'll tell you a whole bunch of vague stuff, but like there's and anyone can do that. That's just like cold reading, whatever, and like psychology. But like it's when you get like details, like this one had to do with a Corvette and cowboy boots, right? Like I guess, and so this was very specific to her situation, and neither one of us knew this, so I guess each one of us said one of those two things. I don't remember who did what, but and like she's like, oh my gosh. So and sometimes, and you also have to like not censor yourself. That's the problem I have.
Yeah,
like, I get stuff in my head, and I'll be like, that can't be. I'll say that can't be right. Who the hell am I to know if it's right or not? Like but I'll say that.
We need to learn to not judge our channel and just allow it.
Right. Yeah. And it's hard though, because I'm always like waiting for people to go, no, that's not right. But it hasn't happened yet. Knock on wood. Yeah. But yeah, and Hanifa says you're right about the people who have same background develop psychic abilities. It's true. This is a known thing in science. It's just like hasn't been. It literally has been studied for decades, but like it's been kind of kept under the under the rug, because it's kind of like a taboo topic, right? Like I guess for whatever reason until now, because quantum physics comes along and they're like, oh hey, guess what? All this stuff is accounted for in this science. Now there's a hard theoretical science, but still like it gives people the permission to say, okay, this is a possibility. Whereas before we couldn't say that. So
right, exactly. And now we have science on our side. Yeah. So there you go, guys. So we're going to wrap it up. It's been wonderful, you guys, tonight. Thank you so much for coming on to our live, even though we came on later. I think it's actually better we came on later.
I do too.
Yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow with
dream analysis.
Dream analysis.
So get some sleep tonight and have some crazy dreams, and come back tomorrow and tell us all about it.
There we go. All right. Thank you guys so much. We love you so much. Thank you for showing up. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.